Rebirth to become the top player in the kimchi country's return to China, starting with a duel with a kung fu superstar in the octagonal cage, the sky collapses. One is a small fresh meat with no binding power, and the other is a martial arts superstar with real martial arts skills. No matter how you look at it, you are doomed, but fortunately there is still a system, and everything is not a problem. Chapter 1. Octagonal Cage is coming to the beginning. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The new book sets sail and is guaranteed to be completed. Store your mind while reading. April 22, 2014. Blue Star Magic City is a 5-star hotel located by the Huangpu River. In the presidential suite, where am I? Fang Jun opened his eyes and looked around in confusion. Last night, he had just finished reviewing the story of a Bing from work and rested, so he took a nap. In the blink of an eye, how could it have become like this? Judging from the decoration in this room, it should be quite expensive. Before we could even take a look here, my head suddenly started to ache. About 20 minutes later, Fang Jun wiped the cold sweat off his forehead before realizing that he had been reborn. Reborn on Blue Star, a top-performing artist of the same name who has just returned from the country of kimchi. According to the memory of his predecessor, he went to the kimchi country at the age of 5 to become a trainee at the Silly Hat Company. He had an outstanding appearance and exceptional talent since childhood, and worked as a trainee for 13 years. Originally planned to debut in a group, it eventually became a solo debut. At the age of 18, he made his debut with a song called Baby, which became popular worldwide. Then I continued to delve deeper into music, and the 2 albums I released over the past 4 years were quite well received. It can be said that it is the top stream in the Asia-Pacific region. Last year, I made my first foray into film and television, and collaborated with Kimchi Kun Chi Hyun on Star, which once again became popular throughout the Asia-Pacific region. It was deeply ingrained in people's hearts to teach this character. It can be said that Tianhu started the game. At this point, the contract expires and the predecessor is also preparing to return to China for development. After all, it is known how large the market for kimchi is in China and how large the domestic market is. So that is a selfless return to China for development. After the announcement of returning to China for development, fans are boiling. For example, there are now hundreds of fans gathered at the hotel entrance just to catch a glimpse of their own brother. It would be even better if I could talk to my own brother. The news that Fang Jun announced his return to China for development has spread, not only among fans, but also among countless companies in the industry who are eager to sign him as a high-traffic influencer. Perhaps the momentum of returning to China is too strong, coupled with the arrival of the era of social media in recent years. The famous kung fu star Wu Jin said in an interview, "What kind of women are fussing about? They are not men at all." This has stirred up a hornet's nest. Currently, the so-called 4 sons of the Heavenly Dynasty have not announced their return to China for development, and several domestic traffic is still in the initial stage. So basically, it's about matching seats. Fans naturally quit and instantly slaughtered Wu Jin's various social media platforms. Since his predecessor's debut here, he has had a smooth sailing, and at the age of 18, he has been invincible. The young man felt proud and naturally stopped doing it when he heard someone jump like this. The invitation was sent out directly, on the evening of April 23 at 8 p.m., at the Octagonal Cage. Make a direct engagement, no BB. With Fang Jun openly engaging in a battle on Weibo, Wu Jin naturally did not directly respond. So the biggest highlight in this period of time is the Octagonal Cage on the evening of April 23. It can be said that it has raised enough eyeballs. It all depends on whether Fang Jun proves it to little fresh meat or is it being slapped in the face and turned into a clown. And today is already April 22, which is tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock, I will be playing. This is the beginning of the TM Heaven collapse. After accepting the memories of my predecessor, I feel a bit overwhelmed with my body. Although I exercise regularly and have some small muscles, I am not even as good as this martial arts artist. I guess I will be bloodied tomorrow night. It's not good to be your top streamer honestly, why jump like this? This mess still needs to be cleaned up by oneself. People on Fang Jun's side are also drunk. At this moment, the doorbell rang, and Fang Jun got up and went to open the door. Agent Bai Ling walked in with her assistant Hui Hui, who was still carrying a breakfast. Xiao Jun, why don't we forget it? We're here to develop, not to fight, Bai Ling couldn't help but advise as she looked at her own artist. The duel will start tomorrow, and she knows how much weight her own artist weighs. It's not just about the same as those who have been trained in small battles like Wu Jin. If one's strength is slightly inferior, they can still promote that even if they are defeated, they will still be proud. But it's obvious that this is being abused by blood. We've all reached this point. We can still forget about it. Upon hearing Bai Ling's words, Fang Jun couldn't help but laugh. You can post a Weibo post later saying that you have sprained your foot. I have already had someone prepare your medical record and film. We will treat Wu Jin to a private meal later, Bai Ling said. No, this is not a reality. I feel guilty. Even if I die on stage tomorrow night, I can't leave, said Fang Jun. Why are you so stubborn? Bai Ling couldn't help but rage at this moment. We haven't played yet, and we don't know who will win. Although Fang Jun knew that there was a big gap in strength, he didn't lose to the team. Never show timidity in front of outsiders, all for the sake of a man's self-esteem. Okay. I'll go do the follow-up public relations first, Hui Hui. Look at him, don't do anything wrong. We just returned to China. We're not familiar with everything in China. We should be careful in everything we do. Bai Ling couldn't help but say as she looked at Fang Jun's stubborn expression. In her opinion, tomorrow night is a stable losing situation, so she needs to do a good job in public relations in advance, such as having the courage to go on stage and not accepting defeat. These are all promotional points. At present, Fang Jun's popularity in China is unbeatable, and the residual heat of star has not yet passed. It can be said that in terms of public relations, he is not particularly outstanding, as long as he passes. Okay, Sister Ling, Hui Hui smiled at the moment. After Bai Ling left, Hui Hui skillfully arranged breakfast neatly. Have you eaten it, Sister Hui? I've tried it, Hui Hui said with a smile. Fang Jun took out a steamed bun and took a bite without hesitation. He was also pondering what to do tomorrow, as it seemed like a situation of unilateral crushing. So we must try our best to break through the situation. In fact, Bai Ling's method is quite good. Although it is simple, it is useful. At most, it will be ridiculed by people for 1 or 2 months, and it will not affect one's own resources and development in the future. After all, I have a rough understanding of my current popularity. There are almost 100 fans waiting for me right at the hotel entrance. That explains everything. After finishing breakfast, Fang Jun lay on the sofa, while the wise thief talked to him about all the gossip, such as which big shots would be present tomorrow night. After all, this octagonal cage game has filled my appetite. A returning top-tier player challenges a well-known kung fu superstar to maintain their dignity. It seems like the plot is full. Anyway, one of the two will definitely be a clown tomorrow. And that clown is likely to be Fang Jun. Who made Wu Jin's family really have something. But there will always be miracles happening here, right? At noon, Fang Jun gang was about to go out for lunch, then come back for lunch break and go to the hotel gym for a little exercise in the afternoon. After all, sharpening the gun in the face of adversity is not enough. At this moment, the phone rang, and when Fang Jun picked it up, it turned out to be Song Qian. Chapter 2, formerly known as Scumbag. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. As the phone rang, looking at the name, Fang Jun suddenly had some more memories in his mind. How to put it, this is both the practice room of the Silly Hat family and a Chinese person. We often communicate with each other, and she is also a beautiful woman. Due to his outstanding appearance, Fang Jun naturally attracted some maternal love from Song Qian. These back and forth are intertwined together. As Song Qian returned to China for further development, there were fewer meetings between the two. Usually, they just chatted over the phone, and although they were together, they never had a clear relationship. Because Fang Jun's predecessor was really a scumbag, at the level of an ancestor. Firstly, the little crystal that was paired with Song Qian was also a bit unclear, and it seems that there was also an indescribable little story last year when filming Star with Jun Jixian. Besides, it seems that there are also a few artists who are unclear on the side of Xiao Ri. The biggest reason is this face, it's really too demonic. To put it in the words of a famous and beautiful female artist, I always feel ashamed in front of Fang Jun. I'm a pure love warrior, not a scumbag. The memory that came out of it left Fang Jun speechless. But let's answer the phone for now. Hello, Sister Qian, Jun said first after answering the phone. Come out and have a meal together. Kung Fu superstar, Song Qian joked on the phone. Why are you free today when you're busy filming in Magic City? Nonsense, tomorrow's Kung Fu superstar's Octagonal cage debut will just grab your attention, Song Qian said with a smile. You can send me your location, I'll go over right away, Fang Jun said helplessly as he listened to Song Qian's teasing. I hung up the phone here, changed into clothes, put on a hat and mask, and then took Hui downstairs to take the bus. When Fang Jun appeared at the hotel entrance with his assistant, the fans waiting at the door were instantly boiling. After waiting for so long, I finally met my own brother, and at this moment, my life was fulfilled. The security personnel of the hotel here also intercepted it briefly, otherwise it would be too chaotic. The fighting power of these fans is very strong. If not obstructed, it is estimated that Fang Jun will be completely exposed. Arriving at the hotel entrance, I first waved to the fans and greeted them. Then, I simply received a few letters from the fans, and couldn't avoid being taken advantage of. A few station sisters were crazily filming the divine images of Fang Jun. In the past few years since Fang Jun debuted, in the words of station sister, he doesn't even need to fix it, he can just send it directly after receiving the letter. Fang Jun got into the car and waved goodbye before leaving. 4 or 5 cars followed behind, some of which were paparazzi and some were so-called illegitimate meals. This is also the norm. At this moment, some fans cannot stay at the hotel entrance for a long time. So handsome, my brother's hands are so slippery, I'm dying, a female fan said excitedly to her companions. Yes, it's so handsome, said his companion with a fanatic expression. Riding in the car here, bored Fang Jun casually opened the fan's letter, these are all Tiger Wolf words, it's hard to see. The story of Bian Bing is much bolder. The second one was just a personal photo with contact information, and Fang Jun was also drunk. The third letter is quite normal, expressing the other person's love for Jun. After reading several letters in a row, I finally let Hui handle those unhealthy letters. Hui has long been familiar with doing such things, not to mention personal photos. In recent years, I have worked as an assistant to Fang Jun, and I have seen all kinds of demons and monsters. This private photo is a pediatrician. The car arrived at a restaurant all the way, and Fang Jun got off the car. Under the guidance of the restaurant waiter, enter a private room. At this moment, the paparazzi and illegitimate food squatting outside were taking crazy photos. Song Qian. These two people probably are dating, right? Muttered a paparazzi. It's probably impossible. Song Qian has been in the Magic City recently, and they only met for the first time today. If we were dating, we would have met long ago. It's probably just a normal gathering. They both came from the Silly Hat Company, and their relationship has always been good. In the private room of the restaurant, the two naturally gave each other a shallow hug when they met, without much in-depth communication. After all, there were still many paparazzi outside. Pay attention to the impact. Take a look at what you're eating, I'll just order something. After sitting down, Song Qian looked at the little ghost across from her and smiled. All right. It's getting more and more beautiful, Fang Jun said with a smile. You say it, Song Qian said on her side. The two chatted for a while, and soon the waiter handed over the dishes and closed the door. Subsequently, Song Qian began to educate. Why do you provoke them so recklessly when you say you're good? They say they're good, and you can develop your own. As long as the well water doesn't invade the river, it's enough. The old master said a few words about what's wrong with you, Song Qian said rudely. Yes, sister is right, Fang Jun said with a smiling face. You're right, you just don't listen, right? Song Qian rolled her eyes and said. This soup is good, I'll serve you a bowl. Humph, I asked the company to contact you over there. How about getting close to you tonight to apologize? It's okay tomorrow, Song Qian said on her side. Forget it, there's no such thing as a free lunch in the world. If you eat it, you have to pay it back, said Fang Jun. The company on Song Qian's side clearly knows that Fang Jun has returned to China for development. First, we will send a sincere gift package, and then we can have absolute initiative in negotiations with Fang Jun. There is a high probability that Fang Jun will be signed. Have you figured out which company to sign with? Song Qian asked. Fang Jun's return to China for development is definitely the big news in the circle during this period. Countless companies are eagerly hoping to win over Fang Jun, offering generous conditions. For any major project, it is unnecessary to throw it up. I'm not afraid you won't be tempted. The main reason is that Fang Jun's traffic is too high, and the influence of the entire Asia-Pacific region is astonishing. Especially with the collaboration with Xiangjiang at the end of last year, Star was an absolute killer. I don't know, let's talk about it after the fight tomorrow night, said Fang Jun. You don't want to work alone, do you? Song Qian said. I'm not stupid. I just returned to my home country, but I don't have any connections or resources. I'm a fool who works alone, said Fang Jun. That's good, don't imitate Han Geng. He came back because he was too proud, Song Qian couldn't help but remind her. I know, just like an old lady, or you can be my agent. Fang Jun roast. I'm not here for you, little devil. If it were someone else, I wouldn't bother to talk to them, Song Qian said bluntly. Got it, thank you for the goddess's concern, Fang Jun said with a smile. I'm afraid your goddess sister has someone else, such as Jun Jixian, Song Qian sneered. Mao. It's impossible. Chapter 3. Has a system, but it seems that there is none. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After finishing dinner with Song Qian, Fang Jun did not have the intention to communicate deeply with this woman, mainly because there were too many paparazzi outside. If this is accidentally caught, that career, which was in its prime, collapsed. So you must be careful when acting. If you are a strong faction, you don't have this kind of trouble. But at present, the label that the public gives themselves is idols and traffic. So it can only be done slowly. After hugging and saying goodbye to Song Qian, Fang Jun took a car back to the hotel for lunch break. In the afternoon, Fang Jun went to the gym to exercise for a while, and at this time, the matter of Jun and Song Qian having a meal together on the internet has already become a hot topic. After the broadcast of Star, Fang Jun's popularity can only be described in 4 words, which is terrifying. The high-definition video footage of this dining-out party naturally attracted a large number of fans and passers-by. However, after this normal gathering, the two of them did not return to the hotel together, so naturally there was no rumor of any scandals. However, some fans of Fang Jun complain that Song Qian is an old woman who seduces her brother. You should know that there is a 3-year age difference between the two. In the eyes of ordinary people, the third year of college may seem like a golden brick, but in the eyes of fans, especially those who love their girlfriends, it's not that serious. The two fans couldn't help but have a friendly exchange, but it's not a big problem. I don't know how many people are tearing up the food circle here every day. All within a controllable range. Fang Jun spent the entire afternoon at the gym. After finishing dinner at around 6 p.m., I returned to my room to rest. Lying on the sofa, Fang Jun's mood was unusually uneasy. We're going to have a fight tomorrow, it looks like we're all being bloodied. I probably lost half of my life after getting into an octagonal cage. The key is to be a clown like TM, who can bear it. I have thought of N ways today, but still cannot come up with a way to win. Unless that Wu Jin is allowed to participate in a fake match. But is that possible? I'm already jumping in his face like this. What are they waiting for if they don't seek revenge this time? I guess they will hold their breath and fight this fight tomorrow. So it's basically an unsolvable topic. The only hope now is for a system to appear and save my dog's life. As the saying goes, when reincarnating through time, one must bring a golden finger. The heavens shouldn't be so stingy, as they have allowed themselves to be reborn for a lifetime. This golden finger must be given. Even if you don't give it to the system, just let yourself pass this level. System. Brother Tong. Dad. I tried to shout in my heart a few times, but there was no movement. Fang Jun's side can only give up. It seems that tomorrow we can only showcase our talents. If someone punches us 10 times, it would be great if we could give back one punch. Feeling emotional, Fang Jun is ready to wash up and rest. At this moment, the electronic sound of system binding appeared in Fang Jun's mind. Dad, you finally came. Listening to this voice, Fang Jun was instantly excited. There was a system now, and tomorrow he had to show off his style and show that guy what a pure man is. More than 10 minutes later, Fang Jun's side was also dumbfounded. What kind of broken system is this? Everyone else is calling for help and giving whatever they want. When it comes to our own side, we can only choose between the two. According to the Dog B system, detecting one's current self-situation can help improve their combat skills and quickly reach the level of a master. It is not a problem to win tomorrow's combat. But in this way, the system itself will be punished by rules for forcibly enhancing the host's strength, and will be forced to sleep. The specific awakening time is yet to be determined. Who can bear this 1 or 2 decision? Why don't you send me the beginner gift package first, and then I can choose? Fang Jun asked. The host has insufficient conditions to open the gift package. The conditions for the beginner's big gift package are not enough, I'm tired. Fang Jun felt numb on his side. I originally thought it would be a beginner's gift package for free first, but who knew this Dog B system wouldn't even give me a chance. Please host choose as soon as possible. The system's indifferent electronic voice came in. This TM will lose half of his life tomorrow and become a clown. In exchange for a system, it's better to switch to fighting skills directly. And it seems that this system says the awakening time is undetermined, maybe it will wake up in 3 to 5 days. At that time, won't it still be killing everyone in all directions? Thinking about these, it seemed that Fang Jun had already made a decision in his heart. Fighting technique is a challenge. Even if this system doesn't wake up, I still carry memories of my past life with me. Choosing a good notebook and writing a good song can still make a living. With Fang Jun's selection, the system came into play. After half an hour, Fang Jun's body shape did not change much. The main reason is that as an artist, body management is very necessary, as he already has abdominal muscles. So the change was not significant, and here it was mainly due to the addition of many combat moves in my mind, as well as the increase in strength and speed. Fang Jun, who obtained combat skills here, couldn't wait to run to the hotel gym to familiarize himself with this master-level combat skills and found them really useful. I seem to have endless strength now. Tomorrow will definitely be a good opportunity for me to make a name for myself. Maybe there will be several martial arts scripts coming to my door after tomorrow. But one thing to say is that this domestic martial arts has really declined in recent years. Thinking about these, Fang Jun's heart was filled with joy. Humming a song all the way back to my room and then resting. At this moment, inside the Magic City airport. When Wu Jin appeared at the airport with his assistant pushing his luggage, a large wave of media surrounded him. The battle of the octagonal cage here tomorrow will be the focus of the entire circle. During the day, Fang Jun and Song Qian looked relaxed, chatting, and laughing together. So the other protagonist of the matter is naturally the subject of media interviews. Teacher Wu, what do you think of tomorrow's octagonal cage? Teacher Wu, will you show mercy tomorrow? Teacher Wu, the game is about to start tomorrow. Do you have anything that the other party Jun wants to say? A bunch of media quickly gathered around Wu Jin, asking various questions about tomorrow's battle of the octagonal cage. Wu Jin here was wearing sunglasses and a mask, making it hard to tell his expression at the moment. He remained silent throughout the entire process. Walking forward with my assistant on my own. When I finally got on the bus, I might have been really annoyed by these media inquiries. I won't be lenient, he said and hurriedly left. The media here looked at each other in confusion, seemingly not expecting Wu Jin to say such a sentence, but it also matched his personality. Seeing the main leaders leave, these media outlets have also dispersed and gone back to write articles. Take a break, tomorrow night will be the highlight. Whoever wins is big news in the industry. Chapter 4. Joker. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wake up in the morning. Fang Jun went to the bathroom to take a shower, then changed into clean clothes. At this moment, Bai Ling came with Hui Hui, who was still holding a breakfast in her hand. Xiao Jun, don't try to be too strong tonight. If you should give up, give up. Don't be stubborn. The most important thing is to protect your face, and don't cause any irreversible harm. Bai Ling looked at Fang Jun who was having breakfast and urged him relentlessly. That is to say, this face is original. If it were processed by the day after tomorrow, nothing would let this little ghost get into this octagonal cage. If that Wu Jin is not careful, then this little ghost's future development will not be in vain. Don't worry, prepare the draft. I will kill the goods tonight. Fang Jun said confidently after taking a mouthful of kanji. He now has a system blessing and master-level combat skills. If it can't be taken down tonight, then there's only one reason left, indicating that this system is a low-quality product. Not reliable. However, such a mistake should not have occurred. Don't be so naughty, Bai Ling couldn't help but scold as she looked at the little ghost. How are things being considered for that company? Weiss, Huai, Huanrui, Hairun, Han Gongzuehua, and several studios such as Li Bingbing and Fan Bingbing have all offered olive branches. In addition, Yang Mi and Tang Yan also hope to cooperate with you and develop together as your partners. Bai Ling said on her side. Fang Jun's return to China for development was a sensational news event in the industry. These days, the heads of major companies and veteran studios have been stationed in the Magic City all week, with the aim of quickly signing Fang Jun. Fang Jun is a real gold suction machine. The daily profits and commercial value brought to that silly company in Kimchi country since their debut here are simply not too high. Especially at the end of last year, Star became popular throughout Asia. In the 4 months after the contract expired, it is speculated that the Silly Hat Company earned at least 400 million Chinese dollars from Fang Jun. So when the contract expired, Silly Hatter also offered a very sincere intention to renew it, but Fang Jun was determined to return to his home country for development, so he had to give up. Apart from these big companies wanting to sign Fang Jun, the scripts and invitations for variety shows submitted are simply not too many. As for the endorsements, it has been over 4 months since the broadcast of Star, and we have finished all the endorsements we need to eat, so there aren't as many left. Now it depends on how Fang Jun chooses. Sister, please screen first. Let's see which companies are suitable for me. The same goes for those scripts. As for variety shows, when things here are over, let's go to the happy camp on the toilet to maintain its popularity. Let's look forward to joining the group in the future. Fang Jun pondered for a moment and said. Now he is a free agent and doesn't have to worry about any company. From the memory of my predecessor, I learned that in recent years, having a contract with that silly hat family has restricted my development and required me to bring them new members. It definitely dragged me down. Now that these restrictions are gone, I can be considered a true fish leaping in the vast sea and birds flying in the high sky. Okay. When I arrive at the venue, I'll go find Wu Jin's agent and negotiate with them. Let him take it easy. The public relations plan is also ready. Don't have any psychological pressure, Bai Ling advised at this moment. Listening to his own agent's words, people on Fang Jun's side are all numb. What does it mean to make him act lightly? He hasn't started yet. These two people are firmly convinced that they will lose, and they are still being abused by blood. Even the PR plan is ready, it's unbelievable. Don't worry, if I win, I'll give them a lie and I'll post a Weibo later, Fang Jun said confidently. Don't act recklessly. I finally came up with a PR plan here, please don't disturb my plan. Bai Ling immediately dissuaded the way. Don't worry, since I dare to enter this octagonal cage, I have confidence. To be honest, I am the 42nd generation descendant of the Fang family's martial arts. Fang Jun boasted at this moment. I don't know what you're looking for. Besides running more in the gym, do you know how to fight? Bai Ling rolled her eyes and said. This little ghost followed him as an assistant when he was 15 years old, and I don't know what he's made of over the years. It is not an exaggeration to say that perhaps his parents did not understand him on their own. Do you want to make a bet? Fang Jun said. What to gamble on? If I win tonight's showdown, refund me 5 points of dividends. If I lose, I'll give you an additional 5 points of dividends, Fang Jun said with a smile at the moment. Artists and agents have a cooperative relationship. If you don't give them some, why would they bother to go out and tear up resources for you? So Bai Ling has a dividend of 15 points for Fang Jun's earnings. Humph, I knew you little ghost didn't have a good heart and was worried about my dividends, Bai Ling snorted at this moment. Aren't you full of confidence? Okay, bet on it, Hui, you'll be the witness. Bai Ling said boldly at this moment. I have a clear understanding of what material this little ghost is. Tonight is a must-lose game. I really don't know how I foolishly agreed to this little ghost to make such a farce. Originally, returning to China was supposed to ignore the chaos and show off one's skills. Push Fang Jun to another height. But this week, due to this farce, I didn't do any work. Just think of a followed-up public relations plan for this little ghost. Ah, Yunga, Lingjie, I can't do it, right? The assistant beside her, Hui, was taken aback. That's settled. We're full now, Fang Jun stood up and smiled. It's still early here, the situation with the octagonal cage is already like this, there's nothing to say, it can only be a fight. We can only do our best to do a good job in public relations in the future. Maintain your own image. In other words, tonight, in everyone's eyes, Fang Jun is destined to be a clown. What Bai Ling needs to do here is to explore the shining points of tonight's showdown with Fang Jun, and then collaborate with his huge fans to control the reviews. It just makes people look less clownish. The most important thing for those who have just returned to China now is to choose a suitable company. Backed by a big tree, it's good for shade. There is plenty of traffic and popularity here, but it's completely different from the domestic market, with no resources or connections. It is very unwise to fight alone, and at least you need to familiarize yourself with the situation in China for 2 to 3 years before considering what to do alone. By then, I will have access to resources and expanded my network, making it much more convenient for me to do anything in the future. So throughout the morning, Fang Jun listened to Bai Ling's work these days, analyzed the pros and cons of each company, and didn't even consider the partners of those big shot studios. I have made connections with others, not entrepreneurs. This primary and secondary relationship needs to be clearly distinguished. Chapter 5 begins. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Around 3 p.m., Fang Jun took a nap here. After washing his face, he took his assistant by car and headed towards the venue. The fans gathered at the hotel entrance were cheering for Fang Jun. In the hearts of these adorable fans, my brother is invincible. Beating Wu Jin is not just casual. After bidding farewell to the fans here, I took a bus to the venue. Today, the seating capacity of this venue is only over 3,000 people, but the ticket price has already reached a sky-high level. The front row viewing seats are completely priceless, and there is a bid of over 100,000 yuan without any tickets. Even the ticket price at the top has exceeded 10,000. The biggest reason is still the presence of Fang Jun. The heat of Star has not yet dissipated. It seems that just after the broadcast of Star, when Fang Jun came to mainland China for activities, the tickets for a meeting were also about this amount. When Fang Jun appeared in the venue, he started warming up and preparing in the backstage. At around 5 p.m. this afternoon, Song Qian arrived late and came backstage to console her. Who made their relationship special? Of course, Song Qian also came with a mission. That is to invite Fang Jun to join her company. Fang Jun naturally did not agree. So many big companies don't go, and I run to Kaiwei on my own. Isn't that a big fool? At this stage, I'm here to get to know people, not to start a business in China. For Fang Jun's refusal, Song Qian has nothing to say on her side. I had no choice but to choose Kaiwei when I first came back. As for Han Geng, he was doing it himself and the team didn't know how to do it, so he was eventually caught by Du Hua. Otherwise, with Han Geng's return to China traffic, he would have chosen basic major projects and companies. At present, this little kid has the capital to choose. His debut self-created Baby has directly become popular worldwide, and the subsequent 2 albums have also stabilized their popularity. Last year, he made his first foray into film and television, and the movie Star, directed by Zhang Ji-hyun, became even more popular in the Asia-Pacific region. The different locations here result in different perspectives on things. After talking nonsense here for a while, Song Qian is ready to say goodbye on her end. It's about to start, giving this little ghost some time to be alone. Let's have dinner together tonight, goddess, said Fang Jun with a playful smile. Hum, I'm afraid I'm going to see you in the emergency department of the hospital tonight, Song Qian said rudely. Mao, it's impossible. Just see how I can dispose of that cargo. Wait and see, Song Qian replied, then turned around and left the backstage lounge. At around 7 o'clock, the venue here is fully booked. Many fan groups of Fang Jun are holding support banners and light signs. In addition to many media outlets, there are also executives from various companies in the front row of the viewing area, with a clear goal of sending warmth and increasing the chances of signing this traffic king after Fang Jun's defeat tonight. In addition to the heads of these companies, there are also many socialites here. These are not so-called fake socialites, but real wealthy heirs. I don't know how many wealthy young ladies have been harvested by the professor of Star over here. Tonight is naturally here to cheer on Fang Jun. At this moment, in the backstage lounge, Wu Jin was doing his final warm-up exercise. The voices of fans cheering on Fang Jun in the venue kept coming from our ears. The whole person's mood is extremely angry. At the beginning, it was just a simple roast, but I didn't expect that someone would take a seat according to the number, which is not enough, but also directly invited to fight in the octagonal cage. He naturally cannot be cowardly about this. If he is cowardly, how will he continue to work in the circle in the future? And this battle can only be won, not defeated. If you lose, it's really a disgrace, although the possibility of failure is very small. After all, Fang Jun himself had a little understanding of it. He went to the kimchi country as a trainee from a young age, either practicing dance or singing all day, and had very few opportunities to learn kung fu. Even if you spend all day in the gym, it's impossible for you to compete like a child. We must have a big victory today. However, there are still some things to pay attention to, as I know it myself. Although they have just returned to China, their popularity and traffic can now be considered unbeatable in China. I don't know how many large companies they want to sign contracts with. If you look down but don't look up in the future, give some face. With the arrival of the 8 o'clock bell, in order to expand the momentum, there will naturally be online live streaming. Originally, Bai Ling's intention was to privately organize it to reduce the impact. After all, it is a stable losing situation. But Fang Jun won't do it on his end. He's here to prove it. I won't do it if my influence is small, so tonight it can be said to be a live broadcast on all platforms, including Penguin, Peach Factory, Pants Factory, and other video platforms. The number of online users has reached a new high. This has also allowed many companies to once again witness the terrifying traffic of Fang Jun. This side is naturally occupied by both sides of the battle, and first of all, it is Fang Jun who invites the battle. As Fang Jun appeared naked, wearing loose shorts, the venue erupted with enthusiastic cheers. Damn it, is this something I can watch without spending money on abs? So handsome, I'm dying. Fang Jun went up to the stage and politely greeted the fans around him. After Fang Jun finished his appearance, Wu Jin was immediately following him. However, most of the venues here are fans of Fang Jun, and Wu Jin's appearance was somewhat unsatisfactory, with even a lot of booing. Fang Jun has no choice but to do so, which undoubtedly undermines his character. But he's not a fairy, so he can't notify everyone one by one. Don't do this. Even if most of them listen to him, there will always be very few. At that time, these rare boos may be infinitely amplified by the media, so it's better not to do anything. The two people who came on stage. Out of courtesy, I shook my hand briefly. Normally, there should be referees, but my predecessor didn't know which one was wrong. He didn't even want the referees and insisted on making a life and death situation. If it weren't for a rule of law society, I would have signed a life and death certificate. Fang Jun is also very speechless. The final result is for the other party to plead for mercy and surrender. There is no referee here, but the host still has one. Before the game, it was fixed as garbage here. Wu Jin said coldly, "You won't have any chance of winning. I will solve you within 10 minutes, Fang Jun smiled. As the smile on Fang Jun's face projected onto the big screen above his head, the fans inside the venue instantly boiled again. Too handsome, brother. I want to give him a monkey, said some female fans in the venue with starry eyes on their faces. At this time, many netizens in the live broadcast room were also watching this farce, because in the eyes of passers-by, this outcome was already predetermined. Fang Jun is destined to be a clown jumping off a beam, and it is estimated that he will be beaten down and begged for mercy in just 3 minutes under Wu Jin's hands. Chapter 6. Wu Jin confesses to lose. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Guess this Fang Jun can hold on for a few minutes under Wu Jin's command. Just 1 minute, I guess I can't stand a flying kick. 10 seconds, that's one punch. This guy can also be considered a personal talent. Isn't it okay to be his idol, idol, and insist on challenging Wu Jin? Tonight, I have to hope this guy wins, otherwise my girlfriend will break up with me. Brother, it's the same. But it's also commendable courage. Dare to enter this octagonal cage and fight against Wu Jin. There may be a dark side involved. In case Wu Jin's side is bribed. It's probably impossible, but let's see how it will be fought. There is also a possibility of a dark side. At this time, on the internet, Weibo, Chiba, and forums are everywhere discussing tonight's battle of the octagonal cage, and it is even said that there has been a discussion. Wu Jin's direct compensation of 1 to 0.5 is still considered high on the market. The normal value is around 0.2. As for Fang Jun, the odds are generally 1.40. The reason is simple, because apart from Fang Jun's fans, no one can believe that Fang Jun will win, and this is a complete massacre. A kung fu superstar who has been famous for a long time, and a top-tier development just preparing to return to China. In the eyes of netizens, this Fang Jun is simply having enough to support himself. Even if you want to fight with an ordinary person, it's okay. You must go beyond your means to challenge Wu Jin. Moths to the fire, eggs to the stone. For this match, it was unexpected for Fang Jun to open this set, but it didn't matter. With the host's shout, the competition is starting. Both sides were in a direct state, and Wu Jin was naturally the first to take action. He only wants to quickly end this farce now. Immediately, a straight punch came straight towards Fang Jun's face. If an ordinary person were to receive this punch, they would probably fall to the ground. Unfortunately, Fang Jun now has master-level combat skills. If he can't even dodge this ordinary punch, he should really curse at the system garbage. One lowered his body while quickly punching towards Wu Jin's abdomen. Wu Jin quickly stepped back 2 steps over here. It's not easy. Surprisingly, it can counterattack. Wu Jin looked at Fang Jun in front of him and exclaimed in surprise. It's true that he has something to do with daring to step onto the stage. But I am the national martial arts champion and have never seen any scenes before. Hee, if you use the first move, then it's my turn to use the second move, Fang Jun said with a smile. As soon as he finished speaking, he stood up and kicked directly at Wu Jin's forehead. Wu Jin on this side is vigorously resisting with both hands in a defensive position. With one kick, Wu Jin surprisingly took a few steps back in a row. Not bad, continue. Fang Jun said at this moment, as if he were a teacher, and Wu Jin was the elementary school student. And at this moment, the people watching the live broadcast are all foolish. I thought it was a crushing station, but normally, the ambulance should be carrying Fang Jun to the hospital now. But now why does this come and go? That's not right. Wu Jin's game is also a fake game. Sure enough, they didn't even want to promote these traffic faces, it's a game of capital. Brother, you're embarrassing now. Everyone can tell they have real guys in these moves, so just dodge that punch and quickly strike back. This reaction is amazing. Damn it, this guy can't really be a master, can he? I didn't hear he had a martial arts background. Who knows? There are some details online that I can't see clearly, but the people in the front row of the venue can actually see them. These 2 people were just probing at first. After all, I was just trying it out, but these few moves are all killing moves. I went to the door of each other's destiny. Either the head or the heart. Is this TM fighting? This is not asking the other party to die. Many people are really enjoying watching it. The 2 people on stage are still fighting, and with one punch from you, I'm fighting fiercely. Continue. At this moment, Fang Jun looked extremely excited. The combat genes in the body are completely mobilized. At this stage, Wu Jin didn't dare to be careless at all. He thought it would take 3 minutes to solve the problem, but it was obvious that he had genuine goods on hand. But what made him curious was that this guy had no calluses on his hands and was clearly not a martial arts practitioner. However, this martial arts move was directly aimed at taking your life. But I don't think we can do that much anymore. Let's finish this fight first. Another flying leg, Wu Jin can only do his best to resist it. This flying leg is over, it's another straight punch. Fang Jun's offensive was unstoppable like a storm, and he had no chance to fight back. At this moment, Bai Ling and Hui Hui on the sidelines were both dumbfounded. They were quite clear about the situation of their own artists. You should know that before the start of the showdown, they had already prepared a public relations plan for the defeat, but now it seems that Fang Jun is the advantage. Almost pressing down on Wu Jin to fight. On this side, Wu Jin's left half of his face has swollen, and Fang Jun is also feeling unwell. The most obvious thing is that his right arm has already turned blue. And it's very likely that the muscles are damaged. See, that's so exciting. This Fang Jun is also a man, his arms are bruised like that and he's still fighting. I see that his face has also been scratched twice. Sure enough, this product is well prepared. But it's also amazing. It's definitely worth it, buddy. At this moment, some of Fang Jun's fans are lamenting his brother's handsomeness, while others are feeling sorry for his swollen and deformed arms. Normally, there should be a halftime break here, but now the animalistic nature of the two people on stage has been fully stimulated. Your host said to rest, not to mention the audience, even the two people on stage don't agree. The two people on stage are now completely eye-catching. In the end, let's not block it anymore, it's just hitting the flesh with punches. What we are fighting for is who can withstand beating and who has the greatest strength. Many viewers were shocked to see it. And in the front row, there were several wealthy ladies watching, who were staring at Fang Jun with blurred eyes. I guess I've already figured out more than N images of the 18 prohibitions. This is the real man. In the eyes of these wealthy ladies, Fang Jun at this moment is like a god of war. If you can have a romantic relationship with such a man, it would be exciting to think about it. Fang Jun originally thought that he could solve it in 10 minutes with his master-level fighting skills, so he spoke harshly before the start of the fight. However, the situation is still unexpected. I really underestimated Wu Jin, but he is actually the national martial arts champion. If he doesn't have some genuine products, how can he fight? However, the system here is awesome after all, giving masters-level fighting skills. Finally, at 23 minutes and 47 seconds. As Wu Jin collapsed heavily on the platform, he raised his hand and surrendered. That's the end. As Wu Jin surrendered, Fang Jun won the battle. Chapter 7. Hospitals. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It's too exciting, it's definitely not inferior to those real octagonal cages. Number 39, yes, Fang Junyu can defeat Wu Jin. Number 39, this is really a fight to the bone. Fang Jun's arms are all bruised and swollen, and it seems that his face is also quite injured. I also see several wounds on his legs. Hehe, don't you see what Wu Jin looks like anymore? It's estimated that he will need at least 2 months of cultivation to start. The result of this octagonal cage duel was unexpected for everyone. I thought it would be a crushing and bloody situation here. Wu Jin could easily defeat Fang Jun, who was an ignorant top returning scholar, in just 2 or 3 minutes. However, no one expected that in the end, Fang Jun would win, and it was not a disastrous victory. It could be considered an excellent victory. It is estimated that in the next 3 to 5 days, various social media platforms will face off in this octagonal cage battle. As for the fake match, it's all bleeding from the TM fight. Such a level of confrontation is considered a fake match, it's too much of a brain teaser. At this point, as the competition ended, 2 ambulances rushed the 2 people to the hospital. There shouldn't be too many journalists, paparazzi, and fans following along the way. They are still thinking of conducting first-hand interviews. Bai Ling didn't follow her to the hospital here, and the reason was naturally that the outcome of tonight's showdown was beyond her expectations. She had already prepared all the PR plans she had lost, but in the end, she actually won. Then we can only change our public relations strategy overnight. So I left Fang Jun to Hui Hui alone. Arriving at the hospital, after the examination, everything was fine, including bones and other injuries. At most, there were ligaments and muscle injuries in some areas, and more importantly, skin injuries. This can also be considered a blessing in the heart. Based on this situation, as long as you calm down and cultivate for about a week, it will be good. Taking advantage of this week's time, we can book our next home. By the way, look for any suitable scripts. As for Wu Jin's side, I don't have the time to care, anyway I won this game. It can be said that I have given myself a proper reputation. In the future, if there are so-called old drama bones criticizing and talking about little fresh meat women, they will not be related to me. If you criticize acting skills, you really have to listen. Although I have been in the industry for 4 or 5 years, I only officially entered the film and television industry at the end of last year. In terms of acting skills, it's really immature. But it doesn't matter, I will use my strength to slap these people in the face. Although there are no fractures or other injuries here, in order to quickly reduce swelling and recover, we still need to use a hanging bottle or something. Living in a single patient room, Hui Hui has been busy paying for herself, and the 2 little nurses who take care of Fang Jun have starry eyes on their faces, which goes without saying that they are also her fans. These 2 nurses signed their names here, and then they reluctantly left. And repeatedly reminded Fang Jun to call them if he needed anything, no matter what. Fang Jun is also numb. Although I know my predecessor was a scumbag, it can be said that the Prime Minister's attributes are almost full. Otherwise, how could I have an indescribable little story with the already married John Chi-hyun? Moreover, this face is truly extraordinary and a well-known idol in the Asia-Pacific region, so there shouldn't be too many peach blossoms. But in my past life, I was just a worker, so there were too many changes in my identity. How can I let it go? But these past few days, I still occasionally feel influenced by my predecessor and say something. This has led to Fang Jun being a contradiction. I estimate this situation will continue for some time. After seeing off 2 nurses, Fang Jun also posted a Weibo message saying that he was safe. Then I rested. The next morning, after having breakfast, Bien Hui Hui told him about today's headline situation, and almost everyone was discussing last night's octagonal cage. The hottest point is that he won this match last night. Secondly, some marketing accounts have a rhythm, saying that Wu Jin can't even beat Fang Jun, and that's all for being a martial arts champion. Go home early and pick up your child. The remaining part is about Fang Jun's disregard for martial ethics and disrespect for his senior colleagues. Seeing these, Fang Jun is also drunk. When they competed, you didn't have this kind of face, saying that Wu Jin would beat himself to death. Now I don't respect my senior colleagues anymore. However, these are all small parts, and the most important thing now is that Fang Jun was quite perfect in this battle, showcasing his own strength. I can sing and dance, and I can even do Wu Jin's job in an octagonal cage. The traffic in the entire Asia-Pacific region is also among the top, and the debut song, Baby, is a globally popular presence. The real high traffic is estimated to have another night of meetings with companies and studios, and a new round of quotations will start tonight morning. As expected, it hasn't been long since we had lunch here. The major companies here almost seem to have agreed on a time to visit one by one. At this moment, the paparazzi stationed at the hospital gate saw that the representatives of these companies were also numb, but on second thought, it should also be a normal phenomenon. After all, this newly returned high traffic has just won against Wu Jin, who wouldn't want to sign it. So naturally, it was the meeting of the 18th Root feudal lords. Apart from these companies, there are also many other big shot studios coming here. For example, Shuangbing and Guojizhang were personally visited. Surprisingly, there is also Yangmi. It can be said that a group of media were stunned. Where are these big shots? They are old monsters who have been in the circle for over a decade. The resources are not average, but you, Yang Mi, have only been a few years. However, there have been rumors during this period that Yang Mi intends to go out alone. This is probably aimed at Fang Jun's traffic. After all, when Han Geng returned, Du Hua also picked up leaks for the shares in this way. Now she also naturally wants to replicate it. In the ward, I had a brief chat with these people, and the rest of them were left to Bai Ling to listen to the quotation, then proceed with the screening, and finally make the final selection. Otherwise, with so many companies, you would have had a hard time listening to their own quotes. Leave professional matters to professional people. Bai Ling has been following her for several years. She knows exactly what kind of company she needs, so let her screen for the most suitable one. In the afternoon, Song Qian originally planned to disguise herself and sneak a peek at Fang Jun, but in the end, she never caught the attention of the media and paparazzi. She was recognized as soon as she appeared in the hospital. I have no choice but to go and visit in a grand manner. Seeing Song Qian lie here, Fang Jun was somewhat surprised. But everyone came, so they called Hui Hui to guard at the door of the room. After all, both of them are nothing, so they naturally know a little about Fang Jun's peach blossom white spirit and Hui Hui. But what can be done? 2 hours later, Song Qian walked out of the hospital room with a flushed face, but fortunately she was wearing a mask and sunglasses, otherwise she wouldn't have been able to explain clearly. Chapter 8. Flowers and Bones. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. May 3rd. Fang Jun, who has finished recuperating in the Magic City, is also preparing to start working here. In the end, the company chose Huai. Although Huai has been defeated in recent years, its position in the industry is still strong and its influence is enormous. It's good to be able to leverage the influence of Huai to tier up resources. The biggest reason is that other companies have provided long-term contracts, and only Huai has agreed to let him be affiliated, with a contract period of 3 years. This contract has a short term and can be affiliated, so I naturally chose Huai. Although some of the subsequent profits will be handed over to Huai, Huai also promises to attract fashion resources for themselves. As for film and television resources, priority should be given to major projects. The price given is very high. That's why I chose it myself. The affiliated parts are naturally the film and commercial parts. As for the music contract, Fang Jun has already been signed by Warner, and it was directly signed by the headquarters of Mimi. There are still 5 years left until the contract is signed. However, even so, on the one hand, Hua was also overjoyed and gave a huge welcome ceremony. With Wang Jinhua leaving with a large number of artists, Hua's strength was greatly weakened. Now that he can sign in with such a large flow, it's simply crazy, okay? Although it is a affiliation, it has gained momentum and will lead to the development of new projects. Apart from anything else, how much sponsorship can Fang Jun be invited to bring in? The first thing Huai did when signing the contract here was to send a gift without hesitation. Running Man. This is the first outdoor reality show in China created by Lan Tai, which can be considered as an evergreen tree in domestic variety shows. It is precisely because this has opened the way for domestic outdoor reality shows that Lan Tai has caught up and reached the point where they can compete with the toilet. This gift can be said to be quite small. However, now that the program is not aired, it's just taking advantage of Fang Jun. After all, the traffic on Fang Jun's side is really too high. If you want a new program to succeed, traffic and topic popularity are the key points, and Fang Jun naturally does not lack them. However, it is a fact that there are too many contestants on this variety show, and Fang Jun couldn't bear to miss such a popular opportunity for nothing. After much consideration, he agreed to the previous season. That's impossible for the second season. As for who to squeeze out of the original 7 people, that's not what he cares about. However, although this side has agreed to become a running man and a regular guest for the first season. But what should be taken is just as much. Top salary. One small goal. In addition to the supervision of post-production program editing, the image of this artist is very important at the moment, especially since Fang Jun has just returned to China for development. This cannot create any malicious editing tricks. This big framework has come out, and the blue platform naturally wants to quickly fight and make a decision, sending people to the demon all night to strike the contract. After taking on Running Man, Huai continued to introduce several business resources to Fang Jun. Unfortunately, Fang Jun's business has already been saturated, and the only thing he needs to do now is to renew the contract and upgrade his skills by paying more. For example, what kind of global brand ambassador or spokesperson for the Asia-Pacific region would you like? So that's a direct pass. This makes Hua feel helpless on the one hand. However, they are just affiliated, and it is up to them to decide what kind of scenes to film and what endorsements to take. During this period, Fang Jun was also crazily asking Bai Ling to find a notebook. In the end, we directly snatched Flower Thousand Bones. The biggest reason is that there are really no good notebooks in the market here, and there is only one that is about to be released, Hua Qiangu. The rest are all kinds of things. Originally, Fang Jun's intention was to directly enter the big screen, but unfortunately, there are really no masterpieces suitable for him this year. The only suitable one is a romantic film, which seems to have been signed for There's a Place. The script and crew are just like that, so let's just pass it. This big screen is not a hasty move, especially if we seize the opportunity, otherwise it will not give the audience the feeling of being in a bad movie. So it is necessary to choose a good notebook. The original plan for this, Flower Thousand Bones, was for Hu Jianhua and Zhao Liang, but halfway through, Fang Junlai was killed, and Siwen was speechless. But I am still happy in my heart. With such a large amount of traffic, I like this notebook. Last year, Fang Jun just entered the industry with a movie called Star, which became popular throughout the Asia-Pacific region. I don't know how many scripts will be searched for in the future. Previously, when Fang Jun returned to China, Siwen also wanted to sign this high-traffic contract, but who knew that in the end, they chose Huai. However, it's not bad if someone can cooperate without signing up. After all, everyone knows about Fang Jun's traffic, and with the residual heat of the previous Star, even if he pounces, he can't go anywhere. It's even more crazy. If we could sign Fang Jun, there wouldn't be too many sponsors. We're running a company, not a charity organization, and we need to make money. No matter how you look at it, it's all about making a steady profit without losing. So the original Hu Jianhua has become Fang Jun. Poor Hu Jianhua has already signed a contract of intent, and when he was about to start up, he was replaced, leaving him numb. You should know that all these makeup photos have been taken. But what's the solution? The benefits that Fang Jun can bring to Siwen are not something he can compare to, just those sponsors are enough to make Siwen a big profit. Not to mention, if this drama were to be sold to the 4 major satellite TV stations, it would be another profit, coupled with the influence of Xiangjiang overseas, and the overseas copyright sales would be another profit. It can be said that Jun won't lose money in this drama from the bottom of the contract. This competition has not even started, and besides, it is normal for this circle to compete for resources. You can even replace yourself halfway through filming, let alone sign a contract of intent without officially starting up. After appointing Fang Jun, Siwen's thoughts began to liven up. The male lead changed, and the female lead didn't want to change too. This was originally quite suitable for Hu Jianhua and Zhao Liyin to partner, and the coffee is also good. But this Fang Jun inserted a lever horizontally. Zhao Liyin, the female lead, doesn't have much presence anymore. There's no need to think about it in the future, she's basically going for Fang Jun. This is a female drama. Also, what if this Fang Jun requests to change or add scenes? In addition, all of this has been signed by Fang Jun. The female protagonist doesn't come to the town and hasn't been torn apart by Fang Jun's group of fans. At present, within the circle, Sidon Shuangbing is busy tinkering on the big screen and basically won't go down to earth to shoot any ancient puppet dramas. The only ones left that match Fang Junka's position are a few 85 flowers. So I sent out audition invitations to several 85 actresses one after another. They were all about to start up, but due to the replacement of male leads and the need to change female leads, we had to postpone the startup for half a month. Let's first finalize the person before proceeding. At present, several 85 flowers are fighting fiercely. Upon hearing such a big notebook, they have changed their established schedule one after another. In order to pave the way, who can make Fang Jun's traffic invincible? Who wouldn't want to replicate the success of last year's star and become popular in the Asia-Pacific region? Chapter 9. Going to Xiangjiang to record Happy Camp. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. For Zhao Lin, it's very helpless. These days have been a mix of ice and fire. I originally thought that by taking on Siwen and winning this big project, I could perfectly overtake on curves, starting from the same starting line as Yang Mi, Tang Yan, and Tian Xian. But filming is about to start, and the male lead has been replaced. After learning about Fang Jun, I was still quite happy in my heart. After all, Fang Jun's traffic can really help her. I gained fame solely by plagiarizing Yu's Lu Zhen, which is incomparable to the four beauties of Yang Mi's immortal swords. I haven't been happy yet. I can't even keep my female lead. The biggest reason is that there aren't enough coffee slots to match Fang Jun. This was directly kicked out. In anyone's heart, they will curse their mother. The key is that it's not just because of one's own problems, it's because the male lead has changed people, and one's own position is not enough. But there's no way, who made themselves start late. Currently, they are still hovering between the second and third lines, and the remaining four beauties of the immortal sword are already popular artists in the first line. In the end, it could only be a sigh. For the female lead, Fang Jun never expected that this operation could trigger such a big chain reaction. However, it doesn't matter. The success of this ancient puppet drama is largely due to a small proportion of actors. The most important aspect is the script, followed by the directing team, followed by post-production, and ultimately the actors. Of course, actors cannot be said to be insignificant, after all, you still need some acting skills. It's just not as demanding as a big screen. The biggest advantage of switching to other famous 85 flowers here is that they have a lot of popularity, and secondly, their acting skills are also guaranteed. So the problem shouldn't be too big. There's not a big problem with Fang Jun here, and the remaining 85 flowers will go crazy. Now is a critical moment, and every major production cannot be missed. Especially after 2 years, the 90 flowers will gradually grow up, and the cake they can eat will be even smaller. It is best to start first to be strong. Even in addition to the four beauties of the immortal sword, Xiangjiang also begged his current boyfriend, Huang Jiaozhu, to play in this drama, the biggest reason being to rely on Fang Jun's traffic to gain a foothold. Her current situation is similar to that of Zhao Lin, both hovering between the second and third tier. However, the only advantage is that she has a boyfriend and a cult leader behind her. Although she has poor resources in film and television, she cannot resist her good looks. In addition, with the presence of cult leader Huang, fashion resources should not be too good. But I have always had a heart for acting. So this opportunity is naturally not to be missed. In addition, Xiangjiang is also from Huainao, and everyone is a company. Xiangjiang's side is also full of confidence. Upon hearing this news, Fang Jun hurriedly and secretly called for a stop. It was simple, although this woman was truly radiant and had a great appearance, Fang Jun was willing to communicate and do sports together. But let's forget about acting together. After Xiangjiang was secretly eliminated, the only remaining competitors on this side were actually Yang Mi and Tang Yan. It's easy to say that Lu Shishir and Tian Xian have different personalities. It ultimately depends on which of these two people has greater abilities. But it has nothing to do with oneself, just shoot your own scene well. The Running Man here is estimated to start filming at the end of July, and the program is still in preparation, with nearly 2 months left. Due to a delay of half a month, the launch date of Flower Bone has been tentatively set for the end of May. During this half-month of free time, Fang Jun naturally wouldn't waste it in vain. First, he went to the toilet to participate in the recording of Happy Camp. Then participate in preparing to record a new song, then go to the Blue Channel to record an episode of The Voice of China, and finally attend several business activities. Then you can prepare to join the group in advance. The itinerary was fully arranged. For example, now, while sitting on a plane flying to Xiangjiang, there are several flight attendants who look at me with an infatuated expression on their faces. If it weren't for the regulations, I would probably have come forward and eaten myself alive. Even so, a few flight attendants would come over almost every few minutes to ask if they needed anything. A girl who was still carrying and handed her newspaper quietly touched her hand. Fang Jun said it's all because of this face. When the plane landed at Xiangjiang Airport, the flight attendants quickly seized the opportunity to come up and take a group photo. Fang Jun also smiled and agreed. After taking the group photo, we walked out of the airport with our assistant Hui Hui and makeup artist. That was instantly surrounded by fans. Fang Jun's itinerary was originally highly confidential, but there is no airtight wall in this world. Paparazzi marketing accounts have long been aware of their itinerary, as well as some so-called private meals. After returning home, I participated in a variety show for the first time. Fans naturally want to arrange noodles. This support banner, light sign, and even many fans are holding support sticks. More than a dozen station ladies were slapping Fang Jun fiercely. Zhao Liying, who had just disembarked from the plane not far away, looked at Fang Jun surrounded by fans and felt a wave of envy. Who wouldn't envy such popularity? Sister, we should go now. The car is already waiting. We also need to go to the toilet counter to Taiben first, said the assistant beside us. Zhao Liying nodded in response. Originally, the opportunity to collaborate with Fang Jun was hers. She had prepared a lot for this notebook, but it was almost time to start. As the male lead was replaced, her female lead was also replaced. The biggest reason is that it doesn't match the position of Fang Junke. He wants to make a big production and attract sponsorship from Siwan. This is the sadness of a small person. No background, no popularity, the only disadvantage one can suffer is oneself. But tomorrow, the two of us will be recording Happy Camp together. This circle is really small. One day I'll have you match me, Zhao Liying thought to herself as she left, glancing at Fang Jun, who was surrounded by fans. Then he walked out of the airport with his assistant. The airport has already sent security personnel to open a small passage. There shouldn't be too many fans for this airport pickup, several hundred people. Continuously shouting Fang Jun's name on both sides of the passage, Fang Jun also waved and greeted, casually receiving letters and some small gifts handed over by fans. This valuable item cannot be accepted, some small dolls are always acceptable. Of course, there are still some considerations when it comes to receiving gifts. Naturally, he chose gifts and letters from several female fans with high looks. Who would make him a beauty control? Quickly leading Hui Hui and the others out of the airport, they loaded their luggage onto the car, then turned around and greeted the fans before boarding. Seeing Fang Jun greeting, the fans naturally screamed. As Hui Hui and the others boarded the car and closed the car doors, they naturally went to the hotel to rest and adjust their state. They had a dinner with teacher He and the others in the evening, and also discussed tomorrow's process. Chapter 10. Dinner Gathering. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Upon arriving at the hotel, there were still many fans gathered at the entrance. After greeting, Fang Jun arrived at the room by taking the elevator under the guidance of the hotel staff. I simply washed my face. After resting for a while. It's already past 6 p.m. here. At this moment, Hui came in and said it was time to set off. Bai Ling didn't follow this time. The reason is that he just returned to China and had a lot of things to deal with. A few days ago, he was busy arguing with Huai, Lan Tai, and Siwen about contracts. It's time for the follow-up team to start recruiting people. There are a lot of positions in publicity, planning, business, and in short, there are a lot of positions that need to be filled. As the big butler of Fang Jun, Bai Ling naturally needs to sit in the rear and strictly control the situation, so this time there is only one Hui and one makeup artist following him. However, Hui has been following her for several years, and basically all the processes are very clear. I estimate that I will be my actual agent in the future. As for Bai Ling, he is a presence stationed in the rear, and usually there are no major events, so he probably won't take action. After saying goodbye to the fans gathered at the hotel entrance downstairs, I took a car to the gathering place. At a private restaurant of Hunan cuisine, I followed Fang Jun into the private room. Sure enough, they are the 5 familiar people. But there are other guests. Wait, why is she? Looking at Zhao Liyin beside Xie Na, Fang Jun was also speechless. He had just won Flower Thousand Bones, and it can be said that due to his own reasons, the female lead of this woman was lost. Now tomorrow we still have to record the program together, this is really a joke from heaven. However, to be honest, at this stage, Zhao Liyin does seem a bit tacky, but at the moment, this woman is still struggling in the second and third lines and has not risen to become a top artist. If I remember correctly, this A Thousand Bones of Flowers is Zhao Liyin's masterpiece. Now it seems like she has been stirred up by herself, and if this girl wants to soar, she may have to postpone it. So at the moment, the two of them have become somewhat enemies, which Fang Jun did not expect. However, it doesn't matter, who in the entertainment industry doesn't have many enemies yet. Not to mention that I have just returned to my home country, there are also many enemies in countries like kimchi, and the biggest reason is the problem of resource competition. What should we do if you eat this little cake? There are more wolves than meat, especially in the fiercely competitive market of kimchi country. Xiao Jun, welcome. Long time no see. The last time I saw you was when you released your album 2 years ago, teacher, he said first. Due to Fang Jun's previous activities in the kimchi country and small day areas, he rarely returned to China, so there are very few programs he has appeared on in China. This is Happy Camp, but he only appeared once. Speaking of which, I'm not very familiar with these few. However, when I first returned to my home country, I was seeking resources and connections, not pretending to be an uncle. It would be bad if I were like Han Gung. Hello, teacher, Fang Jun also said very politely. The happy family of teacher he is also considered an evergreen tree in China, especially teacher he, who has been in the circle for so many years and has abundant resources and connections. If you don't want to worship the doc yourself, at least don't get into bad relationships. As for the other things worth noting, it's this and that, holding high while stepping down, and judging by others. However, at the moment, this product is not doing this to oneself, on the contrary, it is very polite. Fang Jun didn't say much on his end, as long as he didn't provoke himself. Then they greeted each other one by one. Including Zhao Liyin. Fang Jun here is also very polite, either brother or sister, highlighting one who is polite. This also greatly benefited the few people present. After all, in their expectations, such a high-traffic artist would become famous as a teenager. It should be very difficult to get along with. But now it seems that the situation is completely different. Especially Zhao Liyin, originally thought that due to the incident with Flower Thousand Bones, Fang Jun would treat herself differently, but she didn't. She should say hello and call her sister, as if nothing had happened. This made Zhao Liyin suddenly unsure of what to do. But on second thought, I was already at a disadvantage in this matter. The good female lead is gone, so who can I find to reason with? But what Fang Jun wants is a male lead, not a female lead. In the end, it can only be understood as Tsiwen's brain twitching. But it's hard to say that someone's kindness is also for the sake of making money. After chatting, everyone took their seats. The few people here have a tacit understanding of leaving the main position to Fang Jun, but Fang Jun naturally cannot accept it and directly pushed teacher He towards the main position. Only then can it be considered abandoned. This scene also made the other few present feel deeply moved. Indeed, they have their own way of doing things, just like the person they are going to do tonight. It is definitely impeccable. Originally, after the previous octagonal cage, everyone thought that Fang Jun was a hot-tempered person, but who would have thought it was completely out of place. However, it was also really ruthless. He really fucked Wu Jin down in the octagonal cage and had the guy write an apology letter and keep it at the top for a week. The meal was still very enjoyable without drinking alcohol. Fang Jun is a drinker, but it depends on the occasion. There are some occasions that he can't avoid, maybe he will handle them. But more importantly, we need to protect our throat. After all, he can sing and jump out of the way. If a singer has a sore throat, what are they playing with? During the gathering, Fang Jun also briefly inquired about tomorrow's process, and teacher He patiently explained it. After confirming that there were no major issues, Fang Jun also nodded. Everyone just dispersed, and by this time the restaurant had already gathered many fans of Fang Jun. The gathering lasted until around 10 o'clock. After leaving the restaurant, I bid farewell to teacher He and the others, briefly signed names for a few fans, and then took a car back to the hotel to rest. Returning to the hotel here, after washing up, I realized that it's been a long time since I went to social media platforms abroad. Although I have returned to my home country for development, the fans outside are also fans. In the future, if you want to rush out, you cannot do without the help of these fans, and it is still necessary for them to be your favorite fans. We have posted a few inventory photos of our previous selfies on Twitter and Instagram. There are several messages here, one of which is from Jun Jixian, who is teasing himself with his words. Fang Jun is also numb. He has to repay the debt owed by his predecessor himself. But it seems to be good too. It's really good, and I'm not at a loss either. I just replied briefly. Then it was just a group of little crystals with Song Qian, talking nonsense a few times. Then it went offline. Compared to this little crystal, in my heart, I still like my sister a little more. But my younger sister is also good. These are all later words. The most important thing for oneself at the moment is to first develop well in China. Once one's own strength is strong, these things will naturally come. Otherwise, you're just a jerk. Who else has time to talk to you?